Probably you've been trying to let go, but it's not working. No matter how hard you try, the pain, the thoughts, the anxiety, they're still there. What if I told you that the way you've been trying to let go is exactly what's keeping you stuck? In this video, I'm going to show you why letting go isn't something you do, and why the more you try, the more you hold on. If you're exhausted from struggling, from overthinking, from chasing peace that never comes, this might be the thing that finally sets you free. How often have you heard the phrase, "just let go," like it's some kind of magic solution? People throw it around like it's the answer to every problem, every pain, every struggle. Like if you only let go, everything will suddenly become easier, lighter, more peaceful. And maybe you've repeated it to yourself 1,000 times. I need to let go. I need to let go. Maybe you've tried and tried and tried again. But the harder you try, the more stuck you feel. The more you push, the tighter your grip becomes. The more frustrated and exhausted you get. And yet somehow, the freedom you were promised remains out of reach. Why is this? Why does letting go feel so impossible, so frustrating, even when it's supposed to be the key? The answer is simple, but it's not what most people expect. Letting go is not something you do from the ego. It is not a task, a goal, or a challenge to conquer. It's not about doing anything at all. Not thinking, analyzing, pushing, or forcing. Not convincing yourself to stop feeling or to stop caring. If you're trying to let go by doing, by exerting effort, you are missing the point entirely. Trying to let go from the place of doing is exactly the problem. When you attempt to let go through force, control, or mental effort, you're actually stirring the waters inside yourself. Instead of calm, you create turbulence. Instead of release, you tighten your grip. Resistance increases, and freedom seems farther away than ever. The ego hears "let go" and immediately says, "Okay, I will do it." But then it tries to push away feelings, block thoughts, or shove away pain. The ego tries to fix or control the situation, and that is precisely what stops the true letting go from happening. Letting go is not about pushing or forcing. It's about allowing. Let me explain this with a story. There is a famous parable about a monk who wanted to see the water clearly. He dipped his hand into a bowl of muddy water and stirred it vigorously. The water swirled, clouds of dirt and sediment rose everywhere, and the water was murky, unclear. The harder he stirred, the cloudier it became. Then he simply stopped stirring. He put his hand down and waited quietly. Slowly the sediment sank to the bottom. The water settled and became crystal clear. This is exactly what letting go is. You stop stirring the waters inside your mind and heart. You stop pushing, pulling, trying, controlling. You stop trying to fix, force, or figure everything out. And in that stillness, clarity arises naturally. If you are trying to do letting go, you are stirring the water. If you are trying to make yourself let go, you are stirring the water. If you are trying to force yourself to release your pain, your thoughts, your emotions, you are stirring the water. And when you stir the water, it stays murky. The clarity and peace you seek remain hidden beneath the turbulence. True letting go happens when you stop doing. It is an act of surrender. Not surrender as defeat, but surrender as freedom. Freedom from the need to control, to fix, to analyze, to judge, or to understand everything right now. True letting go means becoming the silent witness, the observer who simply sees what is, without trying to change it or push it away. It is a practice of presence and patience. You watch your thoughts and feelings as they arise, like clouds moving across the sky. You notice your urge to intervene, to resist, to fight, to push away, and you don't follow it. You simply observe it. This is the heart of letting go, non-action. The moment you realize that there is nothing you have to do, the whole dynamic changes. You don't need to fight your emotions. You don't need to analyze your thoughts. You don't need to control your reactions. You just need to be. Letting go is about being. Being present, being still, being open, not pushing, not pulling, just allowing. This is deeply uncomfortable at first because the ego resists stillness and silence. The ego thrives on doing, controlling, planning, fixing. The ego fears the unknown and the unstructured. But when you practice sitting with what is, with no agenda, no effort, the waters calm. Your mind becomes still. Your heart softens, and clarity naturally arises. You may not see it immediately. You may feel restlessness, discomfort, impatience. This is normal. But if you keep returning to presence, returning to silence, returning to observation without interference, something profound happens. Your inner waters settle. Your mind clears. Your emotions become transparent. The answers you were searching for emerge effortlessly, not because you forced or controlled them, but because you stopped stirring the waters. You became still. You became the calm in the storm. This is the essence of true letting go. Now you may wonder, if I can't do anything, if I can't try to let go, then what do I do? The answer is deceptively simple. You observe, you watch, you listen, you allow, you stop the struggle. That's it. The challenge is to allow yourself to rest in silence and stillness without trying to change anything. This means no analyzing, no judging, no pushing away, just presence. If you practice this, even just for a few minutes each day, you begin to build a new relationship with your inner world. You learn to witness your thoughts and feelings without being overwhelmed by them. You start to notice how much effort your ego puts into controlling and resisting. You become more compassionate with yourself. You start to see that you don't have to fight your inner experiences. They don't define you. You are the observer, and the observer is always free. Imagine a time when you were really upset about something. Maybe you tried to push the feeling away, distract yourself, or think your way out of it. Did that work? Probably not. The feeling likely stayed with you, stronger than ever. But maybe you tried something different. Maybe you just sat with the feeling, allowed it to be there, breathed through it, observed it. In that moment, you might have noticed the feeling soften. Maybe it became less intense. Maybe you even found a kind of peace in just allowing. That moment, that simple act of observing without interference, is the gateway to true letting go. Let me share another metaphor. Think of your mind as a snow globe filled with water and glitter. When you shake the snow globe, the glitter swirls everywhere. You can't see clearly. Everything is chaotic. But when you put the snow globe down and stop shaking it, the glitter slowly settles to the bottom. The water clears. You can see through it again. Your mind works the same way. When you are restless, anxious, or stressed, it's like shaking the snow globe. Your thoughts and emotions swirl in confusion. The harder you try to fix or control it, the more you shake. But when you stop trying, when you let the snow globe rest, the glitter settles. Clarity comes naturally. This is why letting go can never be a task or a goal. It can never be something you force. Because the moment you try to force it, you shake the snow globe again. You stir the waters. You create more chaos. The paradox is that the only way to truly let go is to stop trying, to surrender, to trust that if you let things be, the clarity you seek will emerge on its own. Of course, this is easier said than done. The ego screams for control. It tells you that you have to fix things. It says you must understand, analyze, and act. It says that doing is the only way. But the deeper truth is the opposite. Doing creates resistance. Non-doing creates freedom. Stillness creates clarity. Have you noticed how the most profound insights often come when you stop thinking, when you stop analyzing, when you simply are? Have you had moments where answers come to you effortlessly, not from effort or struggle, but from silence? These moments are not accidents. They are glimpses of true letting go. They remind you that peace is your natural state, that clarity is your birthright, that you don't have to struggle to find them. This is why sitting in silence is one of the most powerful practices for true letting go. When you allow yourself to be silent, without distraction or effort, your inner waters settle. You give yourself permission to be without judgment. You create space for clarity. You let your true self emerge. This is not about meditation as a technique or a ritual. It is about presence, about stopping the constant doing, about being the calm witness. And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. The voice of the ego quiets down. The urge to control softens. The restless storm inside you calms. You find yourself living from a place of peace and clarity, not because problems disappeared, not because life is perfect, but because you no longer fight the waves. You become the ocean, calm, deep, and clear. Remember, the journey of letting go is not linear. You will have days when you feel stuck, restless, or overwhelmed. You will feel the urge to push, to fix, to control. This is natural. But each time you notice these urges, bring yourself back to observing. Bring yourself back to presence. Bring yourself back to stillness. This is the path. This is the practice. This is the way to true freedom. Stop trying to let go. Stop doing. Stop stirring. Stop pushing. Stop controlling. Instead, watch, observe, be, breathe. Let the waters settle. Let yourself become the calm in the storm. Letting go is not something you do. It is something you allow. It is the absence of doing, the presence of being. The peace and clarity you seek are already here, inside you, waiting for your stillness, waiting for your surrender, waiting for you to stop stirring, waiting for you to just let be. This is the true art of letting go. This is the true freedom. This is what changes everything. You don't have to try so hard. You don't have to fix. You don't have to control. You just have to stop. Stop stirring. Stop pushing. Stop doing. And let be. This is your invitation, your permission, your truth. Let go by stopping the struggle. Let go by becoming still. Let go by simply being. The waters inside you are ready to settle. The clarity inside you is waiting. You just have to stop shaking the snow globe. You just have to stop stirring the waters. You just have to be. That is the real freedom. That is the real letting go. That is the real peace.